This is a quick video to kind of show how to use Canvas and how I'm going to interact with you online. So as you can see, I'm in a student view. I'm looking at my Canvas course online. So off to the left, you have these menus here. So one of the first things that I'm going to talk about are modules. So for every week, like every week or two, pretty much like every time we go over a chapter or talk about a new topic, I'm going to create these modules that we're going to go over. And each module is going to have content that you're going to need to do. It's going to have homework assignments, quizzes, things like that. For my online class, I did like a getting started module, an orientation module. But what you're going to see is probably like different chapters for whatever we're talking about that particular week. So here's a module for chapter 4. This is currently grayed out because it's locked, because in order to progress through their modules, you're supposed to complete the previous ones. Okay, so the way this is going to work is when it's time to actually start a module, you're just going to go to the first, like you click on the first page, and you're going to like read some information and then click next. And you're going to go through, read the information, click next. I'm going to put videos and put instructions. There's going to be assignments, discussions, things like that within each module for the next month or so till to complete off the semester. Okay, now the next thing is how I'm going to be grading your work. So everybody should have had their Dropbox set up. So if you go to assignments and you look for the Dropbox setup quiz. Now I'm pretty sure I verified that I have everybody's Dropbox, but you might want to just verify this one more time. Read these instructions. You're going to create a Dropbox account, and you're going to invite Meet to edit. You're going to send the request to mikemedrigal@gmail.com. Once that is done, on my computer, I'll be able to open up my folder, Dropbox. So here's me sharing a folder with myself. Within that folder, you're going to create like a homework folder, quizzes folder, and you're going to put your homework inside of there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into your folder. I'm going to open up any Java files or any homework files that I told you to turn in. I'm going to look for obvious mistakes. Like in this particular case, they did not put any code comments up top, right? I'm going to look through the code, make sure it all looks good, make sure it's properly formatted. I'm going to compile it. I'm going to run the code. Okay. Now, if I have any comments or feedback, what's going to happen is as I'm going to log in as the instructor. So I'm going to go ahead and leave student view. And let's just say I'm grading their setup Dropbox. So I'm going to go to speed grader. And this is the test student. So I'm just going to scroll down to test student. And I'm going to leave comments for the student. So just say he turned in some work and he didn't do it correctly. He made a few mistakes. I'm going to just call him out on his mistakes. I'm going to just say things like, read the coding standards. Okay, and I'm going to say make corrections ASAP. Now, if I do find something wrong with your homework, you are going to receive a 0 until you make the corrections. If you take too long to do your corrections, I'm going to start deducting points. I'm going to submit my comment. Okay, now what's going to happen is when I log in as the student, so I'm going to switch back to the student view. Whenever I make a comment on anything, you should get a notification. If you go to grades, and then you just scroll down, and you can see like a little message icon, like right here. Here's this message icon. You click on that, and you can see my comments. Now, if you want to comment back to let me know, okay, I'll do that as soon as possible, or I understand, you could just click on the assignment, and then off to the right, you can reply back to me, and you can just say something like, okay, on it. Save that, and then I'll get a notification that you've made a comment to the assignment. And at least, that lets me know that you saw my comment and that you're working to make those changes. Okay, so that's the way we're going to turn in homework. That's the way I'm going to give you feedback on your homework. The other thing is the discussions. So under discussions, there's the question and answer. Now I'm going to encourage students to ask questions inside of the Q&A discussions. Now I do kind of make sure that my online class, I do try to like force my online class to use this a little more than I do my face-to-face classes. But now that everybody's online, I'm going to force everybody to kind of do this. It's just kind of a way to where you ask a question and other students can kind of see the question. So they might have the same question, but they just hadn't had time to ask. They can come in here and see the questions and the responses. And that's the way we're going to start asking questions. Now you can email me or message me, but if I feel like other students can benefit from the question, then what I'm going to do is ask you to come into the discussion and post that question. So so we covered the modules, we covered turning in homework. The next thing is the exams. So there's two ways to get to this. If you go to your modules, whenever we have an exam, I'm going to create like a midterm exam module or a final exam module. If you scroll down until you see the exam, so in this case, this student can see the midterm exam. Now there is this midterm exam, test your computer. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to hit take the quiz, and it's going to tell you that you need to download Respondent's Lockdown Browser. Click here, follow the instructions, install it, and then come back to that quiz and try to take it. What's going to happen, it's going to make it to where you can't like minimize the browser. Your camera is going to kick on. It's going to track your eyes, do some measurements, or it's going to take some precautions to make sure that you're not cheating. Okay, so that's the way we're going to take our exams. Let's see. So I covered the modules, covered how we're going to do homework, covered the exams, and I believe that's all that is going to be different from transitioning from face-to-face to online. And just want to make sure. So the next thing is Zoom. So I am going to have virtual office hours to where we can, meet into like a chat room and do like a video teleconferencing. Like what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hop in the room, send an invite. That invite is going to come through your inbox on Canvas, and it's going to give you a link. You're going to click that link. We're going to go into the room. Now, I'm not requiring the students to go to my virtual office hours. If you have questions, you can ask me. I can screen share, do some examples, things like that. Now, I'm only doing it for an hour. I'm doing like 1 hour on Monday for my Java 1, 1 hour on Monday for Java 2, and also 1 hour Java 1 on Wednesdays and Java 2 Wednesdays. So it's really only like 2 hours a week for each type of course, right? So if you cannot make the time, I understand. I just want to just try it this week to see how it works. If anything, if you have a question, ask in the questions discussions. And if you feel like you need more help to where you need me to type up an example, you need to watch me, then we can go ahead and set up a meeting time that can work for both of us, because I do work from 8 to 5 at Frost Bank. So we could set up a meeting time that can work for both of us so that we can set up a Zoom meeting between us, and we can share, the desktop, each other's desktops, and I can see what you're doing, you can see what I'm doing, and we can try to get you past this problem. So that is it. If you have any more questions about getting started online, I think I covered everything. I know it's going to be a difficult transition for those who, are taking the face-to-face class. Now, I do have YouTube videos of my Java 1 on YouTube that you can watch. That was from the previous semester. But for Java 2, I'm going to have to create actual videos. I've actually started working on some of them. So that we're going to cover the remaining chapters, where I'm going to just record myself talking just like I am now, going through some examples, reading the PowerPoint slide. But I am going to give you some work to kind of read on your own. And I'm going to try to do some examples. I know students have told me that, they get a lot from the examples that I do when I'm typing them up. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email or ask in the discussions chat. Thank you.